Alright, it's time to apply what we have learned so far in our first project. We're going to write a piece of code that will calculate the sides of a triangle with the Pythagorean theorem. Since we don't yet know how to control the flow of our code and use if statements, we will create different variations of the theorem to calculate the different sides, and we will turn them on or off depending on which side of the triangle we have to calculate. The Pythagorean theorem, as you know, is c squared equals a squared plus b squared, and if we square root both sides of the equation like this, we will get a new equation for the c side. This will be c equals the square root, and this is a new thing that you will learn here, how to take the square root of something, because we haven't covered it in the other lectures. This is done by using the sqrt function. So sqrt of a squared plus b squared. And this is the equation that we will use to find the c side. So let's start with defining our variables. We have three variables, a, b, and c, the three sides of a triangle. By the way, this theorem works only for a right-angled triangle. So we have a, b, and c. We are looking for c. So we have a and b. Let's say that a is 3, b is 4, and we are looking for c. Let's say that c is 0, because we don't know its value. So to find c, we simply have to use the equation that we came up with up here. So c equals sqrt of a squared plus b squared, and if we run it, we get c equals 5, which is precisely correct. Now, what if we want to find a or b? We have to derive an equation for both of these as well. The equation is pretty much the same, and the only difference will be between the brackets of the sqrt function. So, if we want to find a, that will be c squared minus b squared, this is a squared, and for the b squared, c squared minus a squared. Now, if we square root both sides of these equations just like we did here, we will end up with the following equations: a sqrt of c squared minus b squared, and b will be a sqrt c squared minus b squared. As you can see here, I'm using comments to write my equations to help myself while I'm writing the code. Now let's switch the things a bit and let's make our c value known and our b value unknown. So c will be 5 and b will be a 0. And we are going to write our two other equations here as well. So a is equal to a sqrt of c squared minus b squared, b is equal to a sqrt of c squared minus a squared. Alright, and here we have our c. Great. But now here we can use comments to turn on or off a piece of code. In this case, I'm going to use comments to turn on or off the a, the b, or the c equations depending on what we have to find. So we are going to look for the value of b. So I'm going to turn off a and c. I'm going to use Ctrl and R from my keyboard to quickly comment the rows, and if we run it, we get a 5. By the way, something that this file is missing, as you can see, we still get our old values, is the holy trinity of all .m files. So coc clear close all. Let's run it. Alright, and we don't get the value because we have a semicolon here. Great. B is 4, and that is correct. Now we can easily switch between the values, Ctrl R, Ctrl plus T to uncomment, and let's remove the semicolons, and there we have the A. We can do the same thing with the C, so comment, uncomment, run. And this is how we can use comments to turn on or off pieces of code. Of course, you can have some longer code, it doesn't have to be just one row of code, you can turn on or off multiple rows of code at the same time, so you can have different variations of code in your file and use comments to control which of the codes will be executed. And let's finally document our code really quickly and move on with the next topics. So here we have initial equations. Here we have initial values, and here we have equations. So these are the derived equations. Let's order them a bit. So these are derived equations. This is the Pythagorean theorem. And here we can also include, add or remove a percentage sign in front of the equations to turn them on or off. There we have it. Now we can do it even like that. There we have it. Our code is now documented, it's clear what it does, and anyone can use or understand it.